Hello, my name's Sam, you're watching So Let's Sparkle with Sam, and this is my Sewing Bee Synopsis, the final. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't caught up yet, then you know what to do. Go to BBC iPlayer and go and catch up, and I'll see you back here just after this. Hello. It's final week. How exciting is that? I have been so excited about finals week and been very careful try not to give any spoilers away, but it was very exciting. So yeah. By the way, my name's Sam. Welcome to my channel, So Let's Sparkle with Sam. And if you like watching everything to do with sewing, then think about giving my channel a subscribe because it really helps me out. So a couple of people have put a lovely comments on my videos, which I really appreciate. This will be my last Sewing Bee Synopsis one of this season, but I do try and do a weekly vlog. I haven't done a very regular weekly vlog because I've been doing this, but I will try in the future to do a weekly vlog under the hashtag Friday Sews. Yeah. So if you fancy watching, but as I said, I've had a couple of comments. One of them was, Sam, could you please tell us what you're wearing in your videos? So yes, I can. And today I'm wearing this lovely starry top, and the fabric was from Minerva, and it's a very fine viscose. It did shrink quite a lot when I washed it actually, and it shrunk a little bit since, so the top is a tiny bit smaller than I intended it, but it fits beautifully. And yeah, and I thought because it was the final, the stars were very appropriate. And the pattern that I used was from the lovely Jane at the Dressmaker's Closet, and it's her Ava blouse. It's actually her pussy bow blouse, but I just didn't put the pussy bow on. I just left it as the mandarin, and then I just popped, so it wasn't too gapey. I popped a little star button on. And yeah, and I love it. I did a 3/4 sleeve as well, because I find that long sleeves just get in the way. They tend to dip in things, or you get them caught in sewing machines and things like that. So I like a 3/4 sleeve. So that's what I'm wearing. I hope that's okay for everyone. So on that note, I thought let's talk about what other people were wearing, what they were wearing on the final. So Sarah, the lovely Sarah Pascoe, she wore a beautiful, they all went kind of silver, gold, bronze kind of theme. They all went kind of metallic-y themes. Sarah wore a beautiful metallic jumpsuit. Esme wore an absolutely stunning kind of silver glitter dress. It reminded me a little bit of the Estelle dress that's doing the rounds at the moment. I think that's kind of quite a flattering shape, particularly for an older lady, really beautiful. Patrick had a really nice suit on, as always. He looked fabulous. Asmaa had I think it was either like an abstracty or maybe even an abstract floral dress with her usual white headscarf. It looked beautiful. Tony wore a beanie and a shirt. What more could you expect? That was what I was totally expecting him to wear, and that's what I wore. It was like a real neon shirt as well. I will put some pictures up for you. And Mia wore a little kind of self-drafted, she talked a little bit about it, a glitter top with tie tops and like glitter ruffles, if you like. They all looked very the finale ready. So yes, it was amazing. So in the final, if you have not been watching, and I know a lot of you watch from further afield and watch my kind of synopsis as a way of kind of getting ready. So if you have not been watching, the 3 finalists were Asmaa. Now Asmaa's a very technical sewer. She always did very well in the pattern challenges, and she won 3 garment of the weeks. Then there's Mia. Oh, sorry, Asmaa is I keep looking down. I do apologise. I've got a lot to get through this week, and my final book. This is the notebook that I've used for the whole series, and it is very full. Asmaa is a surgeon, so she is a breast cancer specialist, a breast surgeon specialist, and so yes, so as you can see, like technical was her thing. Mia was the youngest contestant. She was very fashion forward, very creative. She got Garment of the Week twice, and she brought lots of fun, absolutely fabulous part of the journey for her. It was just lovely to watch her growth. And then Tony, I have to say, Postman Tony caught my heart right at the beginning of this series. One, it's just great to see a man in the sewing bee, and a man that was not afraid to sew all garments, you know, garments for children, garments for women, garments for men. You know, he just kind of, he really got into it, and he really grew the most, I think, in his journey. Yeah, and so he had a very unique style. He's got a very unique style, and seemed to have a real flair for working with the more unusual fabrics. And he won Garment of the Week once. And he was quite sweet to watch yesterday in the final. He did get a bit teary. I think he was just amazed that he was there, as for all of them. But, you know, it was, yeah, it was lovely. It was a very emotional evening, actually. So it started with 12, then we had the final 3. They did exactly the same. They did the 3 normal challenges that they would normally do. They did a pattern challenge, they did a transformation challenge, and then they did the made to measure challenge at the end. So the pattern challenge was what they called a Victoriana-style evening dress for the pattern challenge. And I have to say, for any of you that have seen the new Fabric Godmother peony dress, very similar. In fact, I thought it was the same dress. I think there's one more frill in the dress that they had last night. Other than that, I didn't really notice any differences. So yeah, so that hopefully, I'll pop a picture up of hopefully the pattern or the peony dress so you get an idea of what it looked like. And they all had to choose kind of glamorous, slinky fabrics. Now, Asmaa and Tony straight away went for a metallic lame fabric, and I have to say, as soon as I saw what they were using, I've used that before, and it frays like nobody's business. It's absolutely ridiculous to use. They both really struggled with it. And Mia also chose a metallic fabric. Hers was, I think, I want to say metallic leopard print. It was kind of like, had like a purpley pink and gold metallic vibe to it, but I think it might have even been, I think the purple and pinks might have been the bronzy colours, but I mean, it's always very difficult to see colour, isn't it, on a television screen? But I will pop pictures up. And yeah, so a few kind of things that I saw that I thought I'd point out to you. Mia worked, she knew it was tricky fabric. She mentioned to Patrick and Esme that it was tricky fabric. And then I saw her cutting out all of her pattern pieces with hardly any pins in. And there was a part of me, I kind of took a little bit of a mummy stance of kind of like, come on Mia, put some more pins in. You're going to find this so much easier to cut. But she didn't. But I have to say, she did a really good job. You know, has come together nicely, and it was so beautifully. But yeah, I was just there shouting at the telly, more pins. I think Mia's much younger than my daughter actually, but I could see, you know, I just really felt for her. I wanted her to do well. I really, really wanted her to do well. So when I saw her just not have enough pins in her pattern pieces, I was shouting at the telly. My husband will testify to that. So they all did really well. It was, I mean, obviously it was first, second and third. They're all going to come top 3. It's the final 3. And I do put in my show notes where everybody came. Also the winners in the show notes as well. So if you don't want to know until the end, don't look in the show notes just yet. And they all did a really good job. Whoops, there's my notebook. Apologies. Drop that on the floor. I got very excited. It is the final. So we'll pop pictures up. So we'll start with Mia's. Mia did a lovely job I think her fabric, although it was a tricky fabric, it was definitely much easier to use than the other two, and she did a fabulous job. It looked beautiful. So the dress had French darts, and I believe those are just darts that go from the side seam to the kind of nipple point, to the apex point. I haven't really sewn very much with French darts. Well, if I have, I didn't know about it. But yes, so they had French darts. It had a gathered sleeve head, lots and lots of gathered frills. Finding that really hard to say today. Frills. And a fine overlocked finish. Now they kept saying baby locked. Now to me it was a rolled hem, and if I'm wrong, I stand corrected. But my overlocker, and I mean, I am quite new to sewing. I don't know, I'm not an expert. But I think most overlockers, all the overlockers that work with most overlockers will do a rolled hem. And I think that's what it was. But they kept calling it a baby locked hem. So maybe it is, maybe that's what it was, but it looked like a rolled hem to me. And so yeah, so the three dresses. Tony, he really, oh bless him, he had a time of it. He kept getting things stuck and the gathers were stuck in, and yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, it looked like a perfectly serviceable dress. It definitely needed an iron, but it was, yeah, fantastic. I have to say, it's really hard to do this because it's hard to judge any of them. The fact that they were all there, I thought was fantastic, and they all did a really good job with very, very tricky fabrics. So yes. And then Asmaa's silver dress, even though the fabric, I thought she did a stunning job. So that was the pattern challenge. And then on to the transformation challenge. Now I have to say, when they did the reveal of the transformation challenge, I was still confused. So they told them what the transformation challenge was. They did the reveal of the transformation challenge, and I was still confused because they didn't really, normally they go into, they're changing like certain garments into something else, but they didn't really do that this week. They did give them certain garments, and I think generally it was the idea to have a male look out of female clothing and scraps, but also and some male garments, but to kind of transform it into a glamour menswear look. But to me, it was a bit of a reach. It wasn't really one thing into another thing. It was, here's lots and lots of things you can use, make something new and interesting. I think that's fair. And they did all make something very new and very interesting. Mia straight away went for the scraps basket and went for a rainbow sprinkles tulle, kind of bows everywhere, kilt on the bottom, tulle top, fabulous. Tony, he called them DJ trousers, you know, like they were kind of like silk trousers with the stripe down the side. And then they had pink inserts. I think they're called Godays. He had pink inserts in his trousers, which were fantastic. All in shocking pink with a matching shocking pink scarf. Very swish. And then a gold leopard print top. Gave me 70 vibes all over the place. And then Asmaa, she went, again, she said, for me, glamour is sparkles and kind of, you know, all of that kind of thing. And that's what she did. She did quite a bold move and cut one of the legs off her trousers. So one of the legs was a normal long leg. The other leg was a short leg with like a sequin border. But then she covered it with like a tulle skirt. So it did actually look, I've definitely seen things like that on the runway. Kind of like, yeah, look great. They all looked absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, I found that one quite a difficult one to judge who is the best, because they all did a really good job and they all transformed their bits and pieces, for want of a better word, into very, you know, forward, stylish garments that I could definitely see men of today wearing on the runway. Not all men, some men. So yes, and then the made to measure. Wowzers. wowzers, wowzers, wowzers. It was just amazing. And again, I did take lots of notes, and I wrote 5.5 hours, but they also did say that they had 90 minutes to cut out. I don't know whether they had 5.5 hours to sew and then the 90 minutes was extra. I think it must have been, because they had so much to do. So the made to measure was a transforming party dress. Now, by transforming, they mean 2 looks in one. So one dress has to become another dress, you know, just like you've seen Met Gala dresses, where, you know, it kind of, they're coming wearing quite a simple frock, and then the transform, and then it's kind of got a big train or something like that. A 2-in-1 transformation dress. And when they said that, I was like, 5.5 hours? No way. They all did it. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. They all got to choose their friends and family as models. Oh, always gets me, that one. Mia chose a childhood friend, Asmaa chose her best friend from university, and Tony chose his daughter Emily. So it was just really lovely, and they were all just so emotional. The thing is, if I was on a show like that and suddenly my daughter came in to be my model, I couldn't do any sewing. I think I'd just be an emotional wreck. So the fact that they did it, I just, hats off, you know, just amazing, amazing. So they all went about the challenge in a different way, as you would totally expect, and they all had very different ideas. So Mia's transformation was from a little black dress into like a pink shimmer diamante sequin number. So the idea is that it was going to be a short little black dress into a long evening gown, and it was going to rip down with, like, I think she called it a hammock, a hidden hammock pocket. I have to say, I didn't really understand that, and even at the end I didn't really understand how it was supposed to work, because it didn't quite work for her. I just felt so sorry for her. Halfway through, well, not even halfway through, very close to the end, she'd realised that she'd sewn it in back to front, so she had to rip it all out and put it in the right way. And then when she'd put it in the right way, I think what had happened is she'd put it in the right way, but then her Velcro was in the wrong place, so it didn't quite work. One of those things. Still looks stunning. Pop the photos up so you can see. I thought it looked beautiful. I thought it was, you know, thought it was amazing. Tony, he went for a slightly different approach. So he didn't transform the top half. So his first dress was a black bodice, and then with a black puff ball skirt, all in one. And then hidden within the puff ball and an elasticated kind of tie was this absolutely, I'm not going to say, it was, what's the best word to describe it? Wacky, absolutely wacky fabric. Esme did say something about tripping on mushrooms. Yeah, that might give you the idea. It was amazing. So, but it was such a lovely juxtaposition between the black satin and then this absolutely neon, butterflies, kind of, yeah, trippy, kind of fun fabric. Absolutely. And so it went from the pufftail into a puff ball into a fishtail frock. Absolutely stunning. Again, we'll be putting pictures up so you can see. And yeah, and did an absolutely fabulous job of that. He's worked really well. His model, his daughter, had to do a little wiggle to get it all go down, but as she was walking down the runway, it just looked fab. And again, the smile from his daughter told me that she loved it. So worked fabulously. And if you told me at the beginning that Postman Tony was going to make a dress like that in the final, I wouldn't have believed you. I think his journey has been amazing. He's done so well. And then there was Asmaa. So Asmaa's with her best friend called Pretty. Well, there's just one word really. Wowzers. Wowzers. here's the picture. Wowzers. It was amazing. Again, when they first started talking about it, I was a little bit confused. How's that going to work? And it reminded me of something that my grandma always used to say to me. And it stuck with me a bit in my life. And she always used to say, blue and green should never be seen. And you know, when you're younger and when older people tell you things, you just believe it to be true. And it was one of those things that I was quite late on in my life before I was like, no, no, that's not a thing. Blue and green can definitely be seen. They're beautiful together. And when I saw Asmaa's transformation, it really made me think of my grandma and how it was like, actually, well done, Asmaa. Blue and green should definitely be seen. And the way that you showed it off was amazing. So the beginning dress, if you like, the first dress before the reveal was a blue satin dress. And it was very beautiful, smart casual, could have worn it for a meeting, had a nice skirt. And then the way that she'd hidden the green dress was really, really clever. So she'd actually put a bodice on and then a bodice over the top, so you couldn't see any of the bulk. So actually how the dress was designed was to hold, to actually be that proper reveal. The only negative that Patrick could come up with, or Esme and Patrick could come up with at the end, is that she didn't have enough time to put an extra popper on each side. I mean, didn't really notice that, but if you say so. But for me, the massive wow for me was the way that it actually transformed. And it was magical. So as Asmaa's model was walking down, it kind of, as she kind of let down the poppers, it kind of span, not fast, not in a whirlwind kind of way, but it kind of just span around her body in a really beautiful way, and then fell to the floor in this lovely emerald green, beautiful big bow at the back dress that I thought was absolutely stunning. And the guy said it was a bit like unwrapping a cornetto, and yeah, if that gives you the idea, but the cornetto unwrapped itself. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I just want to say, Asmaa, first class, absolutely beautiful. And then that was it. That was the end. That was the final, over and done with. And they brought back all of the other contestants. So all of the other contestants came back. They all had their friends and family. They all looked at all of the beautiful makes that everybody had made. And then it came to decision time. And Asmaa was crowned the Sewing Bee, the best amateur sewer, and rightly so. I think from the beginning, she has been shown to be the best, best technical sewer. And last night did it for me. It was amazing. I don't think I've seen anything like that before on the Sewing Bee. And and I'm really looking forward, hopefully, for someone to show me something like that again in the future, because it was amazing. So yeah, so there we are. It is the end. It's very sad, isn't it? I will miss not doing this every Thursday morning. But I hope you've enjoyed it. So I've only got one more thing to do now, and that is to give away my sweepstake bears. So those of you that follow me on Instagram or Facebook will know that I run a sweepstake, and I've done it for the last couple of years, every time the Sewing Bee comes. And if you want to join in, then you tell me that you want to join in, and I'll give you all a name of which contestants. And this time 6 people had Asmaa as their contestant, and I have been making the prize. I will pop a little video on of me making the prize next, and then at the end of that I will also put the reveal of who won it at the end. So if you don't want to watch that's fine, you don't need to watch it. But if you are interested to see my sweepstake and the result, I will pop that at the end, and then I will be contacting the winner on my Facebook page. So yeah, but I'll show you what I've made. And I've made these two beautiful little bears, and can you see they've got little banners, and it says Great British Stitcher. No copyright here. And their little bears and their pads and their dresses and their ears all match, and they've even got Sewing Bee knickers on. So they're all fully dressed. And then I've got the honeycomb one here, and then another one here. And so I'm going to sort out who gets which one. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing whilst I've been waiting for the sewing bee. So every Wednesday while I've been waiting for the sewing bee, I've been doing a little bit of sewing. So you'll see that on the video coming up. So thank you ever so much for everyone that has watched my videos over the last 9 weeks. I've really enjoyed it. I've had so much fun. I hope you've had some fun too. And as I said, you can see me hopefully now every week on Friday Sews. And take care. Don't forget to sparkle, and I'll see you really soon. Bye for now.